Look, have mercy on me, have mercy on
What's up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of On the Bluff, presented by Carmigo, which is the easiest way to sell your car on the internet. Instead of taking your car from dealership to dealership, with Carmigo's technology, all you got to do, take a couple of pictures of your car, send it in, and Gabe, they take care of the rest for you. The paperwork, getting it from dealership to dealership, shopping it around, can get you an offer in as little as a day.
Worry-free, hassle-free, nationwide network of dealers. They're going to give you the highest offer, so make sure you check it out. And we have a special code for them, right?
Special code for them, carmigo.io/onthebluff. Get $50 off. It's a heck of a deal.
Oh, yeah, you're selling. You're selling. You keep selling.
I know. I keep kicking the can down the road.
Stop.
I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to have our own personal testimonial to tell everyone how wonderful Carmigo is and how easy it is. As I mentioned, the easiest way to sell your car on the internet. My friend Gabe Kuhn.
Yes, sir.
How was the weekend, big guy?
It was good. I went to a wedding. Caught up with.
God, you go to a wedding every weekend.
Well, I went to KC. Hadn't seen my buddy who was getting married in like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I haven't seen his family in like 5.
Paid top dollar for the flight.
Yeah, I paid. I mean, it was fine. I can afford it.
You weren't happy about it.
No, because I had to switch. We were going to go to a bachelor party in Atlanta, so I was going to drive. So I ended up having to fly to KC because I'm not driving 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I had to switch my plans late. I will say, caught up with them, and I had a sunglasses on flight home. I was sunglassed up the entire time. There was a sunglasses travel.
Because this was a solo trip. Taylor didn't go.
Sunglasses travel back home.
So the boy got a little wild.
No, I mean, it was fine.
Were you throwing it around again?
No, I wouldn't say that. But
You were.
I had the sunglasses on. It was a easy, painless.
Did you
somewhat painless.
Did you sleep the whole way back?
I can't. I've been. No one believes me.
I'm not a good plane sleeper.
Like, so the local PBS did a documentary on me.
Right, just like they did on me.
I've never slept on a plane. Cannot sleep on a plane. I'm too big.
I've done it before, but
I'm too big, man. Like,
Well,
I'll close my eyes and I'll rest my eyes. But if you, and I'm probably the guy where if someone's coming to sit next to me on the flight, they go, "Oh God." Like, good Lord, like I'm wide shouldered, but I usually try to take the aisle. I cannot sleep on a flight.
Last week, you and I were looking at the flights together, and I tried to get you to get in the emergency row.
I did.
Did you?
On the way there. On the way back, I had and this honestly, looking back on it, not great. It was the four seats. It was like 2 on each side, so it wasn't the 3. It wasn't the 737 or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was a step down. And those planes, man, I don't know what it is about those planes. They get hot. Like, they are hot. They're seriously on the way back. So I got 2 aisle seats. They are just smoldering in
and
there.
You're just sweating because you're a sweater.
I didn't sweat because I don't know if I had much to sweat. But I was. How do you put it? It was like that glaze, that like sticky. It's that sticky feeling.
That's disgusting.
Sticky feeling. You've never had that feeling. You live.
I mean, yeah, but
you
that's
live
not
in
how
this
I
area.
describe
Like
it.
when you go outside and it's like you got, you know, it's like the humidity.
They were probably
sticky.
like, how'd this dude in what's it called? Coach? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
How'd this dude in Coach get free alcohol? Probably smelled like vodka the whole flight home.
Man, I was drinking Makers. Drinking Makers. Yeah.
That's why you had the glaze.
All right, brother. But no, it was a good weekend. It was a good time.
So
you good?
You left on Friday.
Saturday morning. It was that quick of a turnaround.
And came back on Sunday morning?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Yep. It was bad decisions.
Tough.
Bad decisions.
My weekend did not involve planes and alcohol, but what did I do? Oh, Friday night went out to eat with some family. Always a good time. My cousin's got a 4-month-old baby
really?
now. Yeah, so hung out with them, my aunt, my sister, her husband. Got to hang out with little baby Miles a little bit.
So is baby Miles, that would be your second cousin? How would that work?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Is that
it's
how
my
it
first
works?
cousin. Yeah, I think it is. That's
if Kenny can shed light on that, I think that would be second cousin.
I think that's right. I think that's how that works.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if Kenny's a... Oh, here we go.
Yes. Thank you.
That's what I thought.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. And then Saturday, we had an engagement party for Michael's sister. She got engaged in Aruba, last
Aruba.
Monday. Yes, Aruba.
Okay.
It's right outside of Venezuela.
I know Aruba.
You do, you know?
Yeah, Central America.
Yeah. Michael, his wife, his sister, her now fiance, and her fiance's brother and wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your friends and your family, again, we have this discussion every week. Y'all roll deep.
Yeah.
Everybody rolls deep.
And it's all tied together. But yeah, we had a really good time Saturday night. Everybody had fun celebrating them. Bunch of food, bunch of hanging out.
Bunch of fellowship.
Bunch of fellowship.
Bunch of fellowship. I hear you. So, what we got going today, man? Where are we opening at?
This is so the worst time of year.
Why do you say that? We're on a short sprint to like football season though.
A short sprint.
Shorter sprint. Like
I would say
5 or 6 weeks out from media days.
A casual stride.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Sounds more what it is.
But yeah, no,
like it takes forever.
we're in a different spot right now. With Tigers news, at least. I mean,
so what better time to delve into some of the rumor mill stuff? Usually we don't.
Rumors. I love rumors.
I do too.
Speculation.
Speculation. Rumors is so much more fun to talk about. We usually don't go there because we usually have so much other legit, factual, 100% confirmed news to talk about. But with it being that time of year, recruiting.
Yeah, you got your MX 90s on?
Yeah, I can't lift my legs.
No, just do it. Come on. We're matching. Okay. All right. Be careful. Just hold your shorts there.
You see that underbutt there.
All right.
But this is a good time of year to talk about rumors and some of the speculation. And I would say the biggest one of the last week would be former North Carolina guard, then Michigan commit, now back on the open market, Caleb Love. A lot of people speculated that Memphis would be in contact with him the first time around.
They weren't.
According to Parth, Parth said they were not.
Yeah, Parth Upadhyay from the Daily Memphian.
From the Daily Memphian said that he spoke with Caleb Love's father and that Memphis never made contact, which is pretty shocking.
It's kind of wild. Yeah.
Kind of wild.
Unless but they, the Jaden Bradley thing, and they were probably looking down different avenues.
Different irons in the fire. And now that
You've missed out.
Yeah, now that it's
like...
Now that it's getting dry, the camp said, I believe it was Caleb Love's camp, said they do expect Penny to reach out, or they do expect Memphis' staff to reach out. I don't know if they have yet. It was a busy weekend. Your boy wasn't on his phone all that much.
I mean, I've heard the same things, that the plan now is for them to reach out and they're going to make contact. But I'm surprised he didn't do it the first time around. You need to have your options open. You can't count on things going your way all the time, right?
And what's funny was, if you look back about a month ago, probably at this point, maybe 3 weeks ago, there was speculation that Caleb Love was going to leave Michigan.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And he said, I will be playing at the University of Michigan next year. Fast forward a couple weeks, and on Friday he decommits.
What's funny about that is it was all academic based. He couldn't transfer the same credits over from North Carolina to Michigan. So for him to he's going through that at that time where he ended up tweeting that out without any guarantees that his credits were going to transfer over, and they ultimately didn't. But
apparently it's hard to get in Michigan.
Michigan's been having trouble
Papa
with
Conte
that.
also. Papa Conte couldn't get in at Michigan, and now he just where did he commit?
Pitt today.
There we go. Yeah, committed to Pitt.
But Michigan, before we get into the Caleb Love thing, Michigan is, what are they going to do? Bufkin gone, Jett Howard gone, Connor Dickinson gone. You're not going to have Caleb Love.
Yeah. No Papa Conte.
Yeah, Juwan better get going, man.
Yeah.
Because they had a bad year this year.
But talking about Caleb Love and the Memphis connection, what would Caleb Love at Memphis look like? Do we like the fit, looking at what Memphis has right now?
Okay.
And for the sake of this, because we know how convoluted this is, let's just say, for argument's sake, to make this flat, simple, easy, no Mikey Williams, no JJ Taylor.
Okay, that's cool.
That just makes it easier. I'm not saying that that's happening. It just makes this conversation easier.
So I want to start by saying I think there's a lot of people out there when the Caleb Love idea comes up and they say he's a chucker. Yeah. He's not efficient.
Right.
I don't give a damn. Right now, beggars can't be choosers. Mm-hmm. And he's the best guy out there right now. to be a veteran presence in the backcourt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a 16-point per game guy. He's got to shoot better than 29% from three. He's got to do better than that. He's got to shoot better than, 37% from the field.
Yeah.
We've seen him be able to do that. But last year at North Carolina, he had his issues because there was just that whole program was just sort of
didn't work. Whatever they had going
place,
just didn't work last year.
It didn't work out. But no, I think he'd immediately be your main scoring presence on this team immediately.
Yeah.
And he'd probably be your lead guard handling the ball
Which
alongside Caleb Mills.
Yeah.
So I hear people talk about his inefficiency and everything else. To hell with that. If you can go get this guy on campus right now, go get him on campus.
Yeah, and you mentioned Caleb Mills, and I think that's a big reason why I like this fit so much if Caleb Love were to come to Memphis, because as it sits right now, a lot of us look around and say, man, is Caleb Mills going to be the ball dominant guard on this team? And that's not really his role.
He would.
Right. So the fact that Caleb Love could be a potential option, I think it really elevates Caleb Mills' game. It takes him off the ball. It puts him where he's comfortable. It allows him to move off ball in that 2-guard role, which is what Caleb Mills is. And then in situations, you can have, Caleb Mills handling the ball, bringing the ball up the floor with Caleb Love playing off the ball.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of possibilities with that backcourt that I really like. And then I think Caleb Love opens up a lot for some of these other guys that you've brought in with Jonathan Pierre and TFAL Leonard. And I really like what that fit would look like next to some of the guys that they've gotten already. So I know it's not crystal clear, smooth pitcher if Caleb Love comes. I know he's not a perfect prospect by any means. I know, he's not perfect. I get that. He has his issues just like any other player. But I think for what's left right now, it's as good as you can do. It's as good. I mean, like you said, it's a 16-point per game scorer. He's probably would be the leading scorer on the team, and you need that presence. We've been talking about that for 3 weeks now. Where is the...
And dude has 4 or 5 years of experience now under his belt.
Right.
I mean, what more could you really ask for? Even when he was on the open market, considering out of high school he was sort of in contact with Penny Hardaway in the Memphis program, like I figured he'd reach out then, and I thought that would be a good option.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think there should be any hesitancy to go say, at least pick up the damn phone.
Right.
Right. And say, what's up? What does it take?
Yeah,
what does it take?
I would gauge, 100% I would gauge the interest there because it makes too much sense. It's a guy that's now looking for a home with a team that needs a point guard, and not only do they need a point guard or a primary ball handler, they need a legit scorer.
And here's the thing, you're not investing in a guy that's going to be here for 2 to 3 years. I mean, and most of the guys you bring in are usually 1-year rentals. Maybe not now with, what's his name? Jonathan Pierre is going to have a couple years.
Yeah. All the guys
TFAL
pretty much have a couple years.
Right. So it's not that. It's a 1-year rental. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you tried. At least you can say,
you put something there.
At least I did all I could to try to bring in a guy to potentially be a scoring guard for us and fill our backcourt.
If nothing else, to me, and this sounds like simple and straightforward, but he elevates the overall ceiling of the team more than most guys I can think of. And we talked about this with some other players. We talked about it with Jaden Bradley. Like, how much does he raise the ceiling? How much does he raise the floor of this team? Like, where does it put them? Does it give them a safer floor but not as high of a ceiling? But, all that talk. I don't necessarily know about the floor, but I definitely believe it gives them a higher ceiling.
I think it raises their floor, too.
I mean,
I don't know how
yes,
you can look at it and not say...
Yes, in theory. But I would say it has a more obvious impact on the ceiling because of if he puts...
We've seen this dude in the Natty,
right?
He played in the Natty
and
2 years ago.
If he puts some things together, if he cleans some things up, if he's a little bit more selfless, if he passes a little bit more, if he is a little bit more efficient in his shooting and they are able to get him some more open looks and just pull the reins back on him a little bit, what that could do for the overall ceiling of the team with him, Caleb Mills, TFAL Leonard, Nick Jourdain, some of these pieces that we really like that they put together, that's a really big building block for what's already been put around him.
100%.
I love the thought of it, and I know you have people on both sides of the fence, as you always do. but I just don't see a world in where this isn't a good idea.
I agree. But it's funny because you talk about both sides on the fence. I don't understand one side of the fence.
I don't either.
Saying, oh, no, he's too inefficient. He still scores 16 points per game. He still can give you a lot of offensive production.
Yeah.
He's still sizable enough to fit into some of the defensive schemes that Penny wants to run with his backcourt members. Like, he can distribute the ball a little bit when he's not chucking up shots.
Right.
I don't get the side that says, well, I as a player, I just think he's, the IQ isn't as high, the efficiency isn't there.
Yeah.
To hell with that. You don't have anybody right now. Jalen Young's your starting point right now.
Right.
You got to make a move. If Caleb Love's better than Jalen Young.
Yes.
If people were wondering, Caleb Love is better than Jalen
Yes.
Young. So if you have a guy that you can go get, that you can reach out to reasonably and see if he can get on campus, go do it. Pull the strings.
And the only way that I can see the other side of the fence is if there were 3 or 4 more options and people felt like Caleb Love was the least of those. Like say,
Exactly.
like say you were picking between
Right.
Jordan Dingle, Jameer Nelson Jr., and Caleb Love.
Yes.
Okay, then
Jaden Bradley even, I
Jaden
think
Bradley,
you could throw
yes.
in there,
Then
even though
I
he's
can
got
see-
less experience.
Right. Then I can see like, okay, I would rather have this guy than this guy. Or I'd rather, then the argument makes more sense. But with how bare the cupboard is becoming day by day,
Hell,
it makes too much sense.
if Caleb Mills averaged 17, 18 points a game at Florida State, you'd say, okay, to hell with it. Like,
Right.
I don't even know if we really need this guy necessarily, although he still could help even in that situation. But
Yeah.
you don't have the creation theoretically right now. You don't
Right.
have guys that are just going to create for themselves consistently. Maybe Jonathan Pierre could be that. Maybe TFAL, if he unlocks something offensively, could be that. But you don't have that in theory right now, and that's the guy who could go do it for you. Now, all this being said, I think Mizzou is probably the most reasonable thought process for Caleb Love, right?
That seems to be the outside thought. I mean, I don't have any intel on
He's
Caleb
from
Love's.
St. Louis, Christian Brothers, right? He went to CBC. Lafayette, we used to play them in football and everything else. But, he's got the ties to Mizzou. They were in the picture even in high school. And Dennis Gates is doing a damn good job there.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a pretty – that's where I'd bet my money right now.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
him landing.
it makes sense, but the path of least resistance is not always the path chosen.
True.
Especially
Very
in this,
true.
Especially in this day and age.
And I'm just saying that off, a little bit of
Just making some of those connections.
Educated speculation. Right. But like, I mean, I think your guess is as good as mine, right? But we'll see.
So let's do a likelihood. These rumors, right? Mm-hmm. What's the likelihood that Caleb Love suits up for the Memphis Tigers next year?
Ooh, God. Right now, I'm about
like 35.
I think that's pretty
Lower?
high. I was
Is
going to
that
say
high?
20.
I'll go 25 to 30. 25 to 30.
20%'s fair. And then I think a lot of, Mizzou would be about a 50, 55, 60 even.
Yeah, we'll see how that one shakes out. But Gabe, let's transition a little bit. You had a former SEC quarterback.
Yes, sir. Greg McElroy. One Greg McElroy
on the show
ESPN
today.
college football XFL analyst. Talk a little XFL.
Enlighten us a little bit about the conversation you had with old
believe
Greg.
it or not, and obviously he's speaking with the Memphis Touchdown Club as we record here. But I sort of asked him about Memphis, and he went on, and some people will say, well, he's speaking to his audience, yada, yada, yada. But he went on and on about how football crazed Memphis is and why the Big 12, their market or their conference could use a market like Memphis, somewhat of a southern footprint. If you had that, he basically said something about if you have a Power 5 banner up over Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, the amount of turnout, the amount of people that would latch onto the program is pretty substantial. And obviously I agree, right? Obviously I agree. But to hear a guy from Bama, obviously he was from the West Coast originally, played high school football in Texas. He has, went to Bama. He knows Pac-12, he knows the Big 12, he knows the SEC, he knows everything. But to hear a guy with that type of wealth of football knowledge of how conferences go about choosing markets and everything else, I thought that was striking to me for him to say the Big 12 should look at that Memphis market pretty damn favorably.
Yeah, there's a couple of different directions we could probably go to talk about this, but there's something that you said that as soon as you mentioned him talking about the Big 12 is where my thought process went. You and I had a conversation on your show a few weeks ago about conference realignment and stuff like that. And to me, you said if Memphis had a Power 5 banner at the stadium, it was obviously a Power 5 school at that point. What would the landscape of Memphis football look like? I think it would be an unbelievable difference almost overnight to go from that. And that seems, I don't want to say shallow, but it does seem kind of shallow, but it makes, I'm not crapping on Memphis fans with that. It makes sense that when you are up there with the big boys, okay, now, some of those allegiances that are like this, some people are just fans of different teams to be fans of different teams, live in this. Then those people were like, "Oh, we're playing we're playing these big time teams every year. I'm going every week and I'm wearing blue and I'm repping the team."
Think about the turnouts for Power 5 opponents over the years.
Right.
You look at that Mississippi State game, 45, 46,000. Ole Miss, we got upwards of 58,000.
Yeah.
Like the lowest attendance was probably the one in 2019. Right?
The Ole Miss game?
Yeah, the Ole Miss
season
game.
opener?
Yeah, the season opener. That was a really ugly game, but Tigers ended up winning. That was probably 50,000.
Yeah, I think it was still high, yeah.
Right. You go back, people forget this, and this makes me laugh that people forget this. Duke in 2013. Kenny, you may remember this. Duke in 2013 comes to the Liberty Bowl. Guess how many fans? 43,000 for Duke.
For Duke.
And they weren't even, they're not a good football program historically. But when the power conference teams come to the Liberty Bowl, it's 40,000 plus every single week. So if Texas Tech came in town, if Baylor
Iowa
came
State.
in town, you'd fill it out. It would look very legitimate.
Yeah.
Now, I still think you need to make the upgrades that are necessary to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. You need to make sure you do that. But they're in the process of getting that done. They have $350 million worth of funds the state has provided of a $650 million project. That is seemingly going to get done. If you talk to people behind the scenes, the Grizzlies are willing to let the university take the funds to do that project more than they're willing to help out the Redbirds or 901 FC.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a split between FedEx Forum and Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So I've always been of the belief, you bring a power conference team in here every single week, you're going to get results from a attendance standpoint, and you're going to boost that money up. They'd fit in. I really do believe that. And even as a basketball school.
Right.
A lot of history basketball wise.
Yeah, I love I just love to think about it, because as someone who played for the university and has, been in the media since you left school, someone who went to the university, covered the team since I was a junior in college, it's just like we've seen those big atmosphere games. Obviously, you've been on the field for some of them, but just covering
UCLA, I forgot, was 50,000
right.
people in the stands.
That was season opener too, right? Yeah.
Yep. And a win, by the way.
Right. Tim Hart pick
usually
six.
wins.
Yeah,
by the way, in
usually.
all these games I'm talking about.
But seeing some of those games and being in some of those big games, like SMU game, I know it wasn't a Power 5 school, but still, like the coolest atmosphere.
That was better than Ole Miss atmosphere, and I'll admit that.
The coolest atmosphere that's ever been for a University of Memphis football game, the Mississippi State games, Ole Miss games. Like there's been all those Power 5 games that you mentioned have been what a lot of us believe football in Memphis should be and has the potential to be, because we've seen it with our own eyes. Like we've seen it in these games. And so I just feel like if they were in that situation, if they were in one of these Power 5 conferences, they were playing name brand teams, they were playing guys that were competing for Heisman trophies and just overall awards in college football and competing for college football playoffs and stuff like that. We wouldn't even know what to do as far as the football program goes. I just feel like the attendance, the amount of money, the amount of boosters, the amount of highly ranked players that would come in because of that would literally turn this city on their head, because no one, I'm not going to say no one, there are people that expect it, but from a common fan perspective, you wouldn't expect something like that to turn everything on its axis, and that's exactly what I believe would happen if Memphis got into a Power 5 conference.
100%. And Something that Greg was talking about when I was talking to him on the show today. He was talking about the allegiances of the SEC in general. But I don't know about you, like in this area, talking about the SEC, Arkansas. It's like a melting pot, if you will. But one thing I don't know about you, but if I'm in the city talking to folks and just around town, most people are really diehard Memphis folks.
Yeah.
Like people really ride behind Memphis. And like you could even look at the basketball fan base. Like a lot of those same people would support a really good football
and you've
program.
talked to a lot of those people.
And here's the thing is like, I look at the fact that you can look at this Memphis basketball program. They can fill out an 18,000 seat pro arena.
Yeah.
There is upside in this damn market. I don't care if it's 51st or 52nd in TV and media, whatever the hell it is.
It's there. The potential is there.
It's big enough. The potential is right there for it. I think especially once you get these upgrades to the stadium, you'll have the infrastructure to go make it happen and for it to look good. I just don't know I don't see the holdup. Like you talk to most people around the country, there's no. Unless they have some rivalry with Memphis, whether it's like Louisville or Houston or UCF,
right.
Unless it's like fans of them. You talk to like some of the big people in media that understand the footprint and how people react in Memphis to good sports, they realize it should be a Power 5 too. Like you hear the same answer every single time. I talked with Paul Feinbaum 2 months ago. He said the same damn thing. It's a frustrating feeling though, because now when you put it in the same conversation, sort of the same time period where we're in, where they're talking about UConn to the Big 12 or damn Gonzaga or Fresno State to the Pac-12. It's like,
how is this happening?
Yes.
Like, how is this happening?
Why SMU to the Pac-12? And I get them; they have deep pockets there in Dallas, but they're like way down the list in Dallas.
Right.
Of things of universities to support.
Priority and money.
But you look at all these other names of these schools that are being thrown around, and Memphis is sort of being thrown to the wayside, and you're like, what the hell is going on?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make any remote sense.
Yeah, especially when you look at, and I know basketball does not sell like football even remotely close when it comes to the NCAA. Football is king, will always be king. But when you look at the success of both programs, and this has become a trend in college athletics lately with both major programs, basketball and football, succeeding, something that we've never really seen before be prevalent. But when you look at the landscape over the last maybe 5 to 7 years, the majority of the teams that are good in football are good in basketball too. It's because athletic directors, presidents are obviously making good hires, making the right calls, getting the right coaches in there, and they have enough money.
Yes.
Money to get it to these players in both football and basketball. Alabama was garbage at basketball at one point, and now you see them as a perennial top contender. And Ohio State's usually good at both. You just go down the list. Most teams that are good in football are also good in basketball, and there's a correlation to that. And we see that in Memphis, but they don't get the same amount of love as some of these other schools. Speaking of love, one Gabe Kuhn.
Speaking of love?
Caleb Love? Not Caleb Love. We've already talked about Caleb Love. We've talked about whatever love I was just talking about. What about the love we have for our producer?
I have so much love.
Kenny Stubblefield.
Kenny S.
The absolute GOAT of GOATs. I'm excited to see what he's got on the other side of this ad break in the Hot 3. What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
Carmigo makes it easy to sell your car while still getting the best price. Instead of taking your car from dealership to compare offers, Carmigo uses their virtual vehicle scanning technology to bring the dealerships to you. Simply use your phone to take a few pictures of your car, answer a few questions, and they'll share your car's listing with a whole network of buyers. And you can do it all from your phone. Buyers typically receive multiple offers on their cars in as little as a day. Plus, Carmigo handles all the paperwork. They'll even pick it up. up, Kenny?
It's
What
the
up?
hot three.
It is.
It is. Correct. Sure is. The new music drop. Love it.
The new music is a little extra, but
Wait, no, it ain't. It's cool.
you like it?
It's cool.
We might have a new one next week.
We're probably gonna have a new one next week. Things change. It's all good. All right, boys, y'all ready for the hot three?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, we're recording on Monday night. There's a game going on right now.
And
but let's
LeBron
talk
is going
about
supernova right now.
it is the conference finals going on right now. The Lakers are playing against the Nuggets. They are down 3-0 in this or 0-3 in this series.
Thank
They're
God.
playing right now. Give y'all's thoughts on what y'all have seen this last week.
Thank God. Gosh,
3-0 and 3-0. Come on, man.
I'm a hater. I'm a full-fledged LeBron hater.
Oh, you're a
But not because this is
D-bag.
how I've always framed it. Not because of LeBron. I'm not like LeBron sucks. No, I respect LeBron. He's incredible. It's like people are to me because I'm a Cowboys fan. That I get lumped in with Cowboys fans. It's the most annoying fan base, and I agree. The Cowboys fan base is the most annoying fan base in football. But LeBron fans are the most annoying fans in fandom, bar none. And I am a team.
You're so full of it.
Listen to me.
Oh my God.
I'm a team guy.
Yep.
So I don't like when people player chase. And I know basketball is more so player chasing than it is teams for a lot of people. But I just like team loyalty. Not freaking, I like this one guy, so I've been a Lakers fan, a Cavs fan, a Heat fan. I hate that. And then you're claiming we're going to win it this year. You've liked the 15 different teams in 5 years. Anyway, I'm glad the Lakers
You
are
said
getting-
there's no loyalty anymore. Get off my lawn.
There you go.
Get off my lawn. Next,
you're
you're going to bring up China, aren't you?
No.
Next, you're going to look at this, Kenny. You think you know somebody?
You think?
You damn know somebody, and then they throw you like, come on, man.
I hate it.
Hey,
It annoys me.
appreciate greatness. dog.
There's a separation between appreciating greatness and disliking stupidity. And I'm not calling every LeBron fan stupid, but I think there's a lot of chasing, and I don't like that. But I'm glad
Christian
they're
is
getting.
the most curmudgeon 25-year-old you've ever met in your entire life.
That is probably not true. Probably not true. But anyway, I'm glad.
He's listening to Seager while he's hating on LeBron.
Yeah,
right now.
exactly. But I am very glad the Lakers are getting smashed.
I agree with that.
Not only because it's the Lakers, because the Nuggets deserve some shine.
No, I agree with that. Like I wasn't rooting for the Lakers, but like
I know.
the LeBron hate.
I can
just
come out
off
like
the
that.
top.
I'm allowed to come out like that.
Okay, it's just weird. It's just weird.
It's just an opinion.
Just-
It's what this
that's a
is.
bad opinion.
Just two guys with opinions.
Yeah, it's a bad opinion. he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
I
I
agree.
still put MJ up over top of him, but kind of barely, really, because of the longevity of his career. It's
I'm not-
ridiculous. And right now,
not disagreeing.
Right now, and this could change by the time this even drops.
Yeah.
But 25, 2-3, and there's 7:35 left in the second quarter, and he's 38 years old.
Yeah, it's
in
nuts.
year 20, he's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
And like he just never rolls over. But I have no issue even in the slightest. I wanted the Nuggets to win this
Yeah.
series, and they're maybe I brought this up today when I was talking about it. Maybe they're just a better team. In fact, I would say they're the better team.
They're clearly the better
They're
team.
like I don't know. They're so connected. They're unselfish. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. had 6 assists. What?
Yeah.
He never passes the ball.
No.
Jamal Murray's playing unreal basketball right now. Bruce Brown is one of my damn favorite players
KCP's been
ever
playing great.
right now. But Bruce Brown, I mean KCP too. He had 17 in game 3. But Bruce Brown had 15, 5, and 5. He has 10 assists, 0 turnovers through 3 games, and we'll see what happens with game 4.
And then the jewel on top being Nikola Jokic.
We don't even have to mention him because he's so damn good.
Yeah.
He's just he's if they don't have him, they're not here right now.
And he hasn't even had to been Superman in this series for them to be up 3-0. Jamal Murray's really been Batman, and Joker's really been Robin in this series because Jamal Murray's just been playing
31 in
that
game
well.
1, 37, and then 37.
And
Game 2, game 3.
24 or 23 point fourth quarter in game 2?
Yeah,
Nuts.
It's nuts. But I thought this would be more of a back and forth series.
Yeah,
and
you said Lakers in
Lakers in
7, and
7.
I said Nuggets in 6. So even
Yeah.
it could those still happen? Yes, but who knows by the
No,
time?
actually, I had Nuggets in 7.
Did you say
Yeah, I
Nuggets
had
in
Nuggets
7?
in 7.
Okay.
But
Neither
I
one
don't
of
know.
us. Neither one of us saw what was coming on the flip side, though.
Yeah,
So the Lakers Nuggets isn't too surprising to me because I really did think the Nuggets were the better team.
I thought it'd be a little more back and forth though. 3-0 is crazy.
I didn't think they were going to take the first one in LA. But Heat Celtics, we mentioned this on the show last week. Going into the series, the Celtics had a 97% chance of winning. They go up 2-0. They still have an
They were minus 550
They
on
still
the
had an
money line to win the
87%
series.
chance of winning the series after game 2,
Yep.
after being down 0-2. Then on Sunday night, they lose game 3, and they really just got blasted in that game. It was never really close. Heat are up 3-0. Jimmy Butler is still him. Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, the supporting cast has been incredible for Miami.
Undrafted,
Yeah.
all undrafted. And by the way, Draymond, I don't know if you saw the tweet. He's like, "Stop calling these guys undrafted. It's a disrespect to what they've accomplished." No,
it's
it's
just
part
true.
of the
It's
story.
just what they were.
If they're
It's
undrafted,
true.
they're undrafted, dude. Shut up. God, stop telling us what to say and what new media.
Yeah.
New media.
Yeah.
Bro. No, if they're undrafted, we can call them undrafted.
It's true.
It's a fact.
Yeah, but they're just so they get the Celtics have the better stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but the Heat are.
I think they have more. They're just
yes,
more talented.
that's what I'm saying.
team.
They're the more talented
I think
team.
Joe Mazzulla's getting taken out to the woodshed
Yeah.
by Eric Spoelstra.
And all of I mean, going into the playoffs, pretty much everyone said the Celtics have the best chance to win it. They're the best team on paper, but what the Heat are doing is just incredible because it's really Jimmy Butler, and then obviously they've got some decently named Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, guys that have been
Kevin
successful in the league. Yeah, Kevin Love. But it's really been Jimmy Butler, Caleb Martin, and Vincent.
Gabe Vincent hit 29 points in game
Yeah,
3.
he couldn't miss.
Good Lord.
Couldn't miss.
That's insane, dude. UC Santa Barbara, shout out. You can't kill what's already dead, right?
No.
That's what the Heat are. I said this on my show. I said they are, you know how people say they died and they saw the devil and they saw hell?
Yeah.
That's the Heat. They died, they saw the devil and saw hell, and then they got revived, and they're just trying to make right.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm never doing that. I'm not going. I'm not going.
Not
Back
going there again.
Never going back there. They're trying to do right with their second chance.
I saw something the other day that said a Heat Nuggets NBA Finals would be on NBA TV. Did you see that?
Yeah. No, man, I would enjoy it. I mean, if you like the NBA, you like the NBA.
Right.
Sometimes I question when people talk about ratings so much. I'm like, do you like NBA basketball even?
Yeah.
Like, do you enjoy
Do you really
it?
care that much?
But it's funny to see the Celtics, like their star players, fold under the pressure.
Yeah.
And the Heat have Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, and Max Strus stepping up while Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are crumbling. That's so stark. It's crazy to see that happen like right before your eyes.
And let's not forget what would you say the Heat are missing their third best player in Tyler Hero?
Yep.
Butler, Adebayo, and then Tyler Hero as their third best player. They played pretty much the first game of the playoffs. He got hurt in and hasn't played since. So they're playing minus one of their best players and just playing incredible team, selfless basketball.
Did Grant Williams poke the wrong bear?
Yeah,
in
he
game
poked
two?
the wrong bear. And I love the fact that Jimmy Butler is that dude enough to come out and say he probably shouldn't have done that.
I like dudes with the competitive fire. So I do think he poked the wrong bear.
Yeah.
And I think he's the reason they ended up, like, not he alone, but him poking Jimmy Butler's the reason they lost that game because they were up by 9 and Jimmy Butler went nuclear.
Yeah.
But I think even more so than that, you can talk about Grant Williams all you want. The other guys have to match his intensity.
Right.
He's at least shown up.
Right.
This is a stat I saw today, and this is terrifying. Peyton Pritchard and Grant Williams lead the Celtics in fourth quarter field goals made in the series. So Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are no-shows. I mean,
What was it?
I'll
Jason
give-
Tatum? Jason Tatum didn't hit a fourth quarter. Has he not?
He
made
didn't even
one?
attempt one in like game 2, did he?
It was either I don't know if it was the first 2 games or the first 3 games that he had not made a field goal.
Sounds
in the fourth
right.
quarter.
But like Grant Williams is, like, to be honest with you, even though he poked the bear, he's the least of their worries and probably the least of the reason why they're losing
Yeah,
this series.
absolutely.
He's at least got some competitive fire.
Yeah.
Joe Mazzulla, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford hadn't done a damn thing. Malcolm Brogdon sort of folded. Derek
Yeah.
White's folded. Like
No one
those
showed up.
dudes got to show up.
Just haven't showed up.
You shouldn't be relying on Grant Williams to be your focal point of energy.
No.
Sorry. That's not what he should be.
Nope. Kenny, number 2. Let's go.
Oh man, this is a tough one for me, man. Growing up watching the Grizzlies, obviously the grit and grind era was my favorite time of the Grizzlies, and the guy that everybody looks at to kind of is the guy who emulates that entire time was the grindfather, Tony Allen. And obviously some news came out last year, I think, that he was being indicted on some healthcare fraud charges, and it came out, I think, today that on April 5th, he pled guilty, has paid back. There's no restitution because he's paid back what he has pled guilty to and faces up to 2 years in prison. Just what are your guys' thoughts on that? And, yeah, just give us your insight.
First off, I'm going to call a timeout.
Okay.
Kenny, you said watching the grit and grind era growing up.
That's a good point.
You were in your late 20s, early 30s.
Do you ever stop growing up? Do you ever stop growing up?
And that's exactly what I grew a lot during that
You
time
grew a lot.
period of
Kenny
my
says,
life.
I'm just trying to be 1% better every day.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Growing
I'm
up.
always
I didn't
growing.
even catch that. That's hilarious.
All right, go.
Christian was the one that was six.
And also, I'm going to call him
out.
out on another thing.
Okay.
How's this tough? I mean, this is like the end of the thing. Like, he's guilty. He
Right.
pled
It's
guilty.
over.
He paid back his money. Now he's going to see what the
I think
law does to
I think
him.
he probably just meant optically it's
yeah,
tough.
yeah,
but
optically it's tough. No, I know. But at the same time,
Had your back there, Kenny.
2 years
Thank
in
you.
jail. No one else who pled guilty in this entire case. This was widespread.
Yeah.
Healthcare fraud, wire fraud in the NBA with their healthcare plan. No one else got any time for pleading guilty, so I don't think
I think he's fine.
I don't think he's going to face any time. Also, if you've been paying attention to how he's moving, he's been on podcasts talking about Ja and trying to reach out to T and Ja to see if he can instill some knowledge on him,
Yeah.
some wisdom. So, like, it seems like he's breaking back out of the shell of, okay, these law troubles are almost behind me. I'm going to start to reintegrate
Yeah.
into the Grizzlies sphere, into the NBA sphere. So, hopefully it works out. I hope to see him sort of back out at Grizzlies games here soon, man. He really is a good personality to have around.
Absolutely.
The Grizzlies.
He's a huge ambassador for
Yes.
the team. He's
Yes.
a Grizzlies guy till he dies. Like, what was he? Was he on Vernon's show
Yeah.
weekly at Grind City?
Yep,
Was
and they had to stop it once all this stuff.
Was it Tuesday? Every Tuesday he was on Vernon, I think.
Yeah.
Tony Tuesdays, I think.
Tuesdays with Tony.
Tuesdays
Yes,
with Tony.
that's it.
Yeah. So I hope we see him back on there too, or back on there soon, because I loved watching TA on there. He's a good
He's
time. man.
hilarious.
He's
too,
fun.
man. He's hilarious.
So, you know,
No, so, it feels
you
like
said,
we're headed that direction.
Right, yeah, like you said, we're kind of on the back end of it now. So, is what it is. It's in the past now. So,
you know,
kind of.
As far as like the lasting effects, would probably be some sort of probationary period, and there may be more fines involved. I don't see him going to
I
jail
don't
over
either.
this.
I
I just don't think that's going to happen. He's probably lawyered up. He's got enough money. He already paid it off.
Yeah,
he tried to get ahead of this. He basically admitted I did wrong, and I want to pay back every cent that I owe.
Yeah.
So if the law were to come down on him and he ended up having jail time, I think that'd be pretty crappy.
Yeah, I don't.
pretty tough.
I don't foresee that coming.
And legacy talk. You want to do some Tony Allen legacy talk because of this? I'm just kidding.
No,
I think he'll be all right.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
No tarnished legacy. All right, Kenny, last one, and let's wrap it up.
Last one. One of my favorite players of all time. One of the most underrated superstars in the history of the NBA. In my humble yet accurate opinion, just retired today, and that's Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
What are your guys' thoughts? Legacy talk.
Underappreciated.
I
Oh,
agree.
come on. People talk about the NBA championships and him not being able to win a finals, and his playoff his playoff resume isn't that great. Good Lord, man. I from a scoring perspective, from a
Right.
space creation perspective on the offensive end, he's probably one of the best offensive threes small forwards
Yes,
we've ever
yes.
seen in the NBA. And I don't want any discussions. If you bring this discussion to me, I'll slap you in the mouth. If you try to tell me he underachieved in any way, shape, or form in his NBA career because of the hype that was around him after Syracuse, coming into the league, being a high pick, he exceeded all expectations, even without an NBA championship. 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. He was a scoring champ in 2013. He did it in the biggest market with arguably the biggest team in the NBA in the Knicks, and he was beloved there. So, man, it's hard to come into the league with that much expectation surrounding you and still exceed it. And him and LeBron came in at the same time. I know one thing that has bothered me is everybody's trying to make it like about LeBron that Carmelo retired. They're like, well, LeBron's the only guy from the 2003 draft class that's still in the NBA.
Let's just remember.
Let's remember Melo. Let's give him his time.
Melo was one of the first players I remember watching, like legitimately, like 5-6 years old, watching Melo early in his career. What game was he on the cover? Was it NBA Live? 05?
Probably NBA Live, yep.
NBA Live 2005, I'm pretty sure.
Was that Nuggets?
Yeah, Nuggets.
Yeah.
Nuggets. But, I mean, when you look at his career, he was never surrounded by much. I mean, those Nuggets teams, they weren't very good. They had JR for a couple of years, but it was mainly just Melo every single year doing everything he could. And then everyone thought he was going to kind of catch his break with the championships with the Knicks, and it just folded. Amari was never really the same player, and they just Tyson Chandler. It just never really meshed with them. But Melo was always that dude. Like, Melo is probably one of the best 20, 30 scorers of all time.
He's 11th in all-time scoring.
Yeah.
So
I would say probably top 15 scorer.
Yeah.
Top 15, top 20 scorer of all time.
couldn't play defense worth a damn.
No, he couldn't.
Never could, but he didn't try.
And
Let's be honest. He didn't give a damn.
And he's one of those guys, and especially when you look at longevity of career, this is a necessity if you're going to have a long career, but adapted really well to the different NBAs that he was in and to the different styles that he had to play in. Was really an aggressive downhill around the rim slasher scorer early in his career with the Nuggets. Really developed the mid-range shot and the three-point shot and was able to have a complete game and honestly rely more on the mid-range and three-point shooting in his time in New York. So he really adapted well throughout the league, and I don't know how you can hate on Melo.
Him sort of catching it either in the short corner, like just sort of in his ISO situations, maybe at his back to the basket, his wiggle.
Yeah.
And what he did to create space and just knocked. It felt like every time when he was at sort of those extended, longer mid-range, he'd just knock them down.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. I mean, and I think there was a problem toward the end where the role acceptance for a second, you thought he wouldn't accept becoming a bench player, but then with the Trailblazers and the Lakers, he ultimately did accept it.
Yeah.
But at first, he was hesitant. I've never come off the bench in my entire career. But you look at his resume from start to finish. McDonald's All-American,
national champion,
MOP of the Final Four. Then he gets into the league, 10 All-Star, 6 All-NBA. I mean, damn, man. I mean, one of the more accomplished NBA basketball players in general of our generation.
Yeah, for sure.
And on a personal note, when I used to coach guys in basketball, when I would have sessions where I would teach skills development in a post play, in a face up post game. Melo's face up post game was probably the most beautiful thing I've seen in terms of the way, like you talked about it a second ago, Gabe, his ability to get the wiggle, his ability to get space in the post just by like one pump fake and a step. Like his step up post game or his face up post game was unbelievable.
In a phone booth, and like if people put like a hand in his face, like he knew he had enough space to get a shot off.
Yeah.
You know, like he was unaffected at times with some of the contests.
Yep.
So, I have a lot of respect for the guy. I think he's underappreciated ultimately. I know I think he created a fair amount of fandom around who he was, though, while he was in the NBA.
I think he's one of those guys when we get 10 to 15 years from his career ending, I think we'll see more love and appreciation for Carmelo and what he did for the game and just in his career. I think that's one of those situations. It reminds me a lot of what I think we will eventually see with Damian Lillard, just because there's a lot of similarities there, and not a ton of talent around them, smaller market teams at times. Obviously, with Denver, that's what I'm saying. Just at times was in smaller markets and was underappreciated throughout his career. So I think you can definitely throw Carmelo into that category. That when we get a little bit more distance and people look back at his career for what it was and go back and watch the highlights, they'll be like, why were we not talking about this guy more? So shout out to Melo.
19 good years, brother.
19
Well
good
done.
years. Long time to play.
Off into the sunset.
All right, fellas. We got anything else?
I think we're good, brother.
Kenny, you got anything else back there?
Man, nope.
All right.
Alrighty then.
All right.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, share it, blow it up, whatever you want to do. If you're listening to us, also subscribe, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Head over to carmigo.io/onthebluff for $50 off. Give them all the credit, all the love. And we will see you guys back here next week.
Thank you for listening to On the Bluff. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports and how you can become an insider.
Thanks for watching this video from Bluff City Media. Subscribe right here.
To watch the next video, click here.